Hi Axie Nation, in today's video I will show you all the tips and tricks you need to know to become a better Axie Infinity arena player instantly. I will show you by explaining some of the basics you need to do and then show you an example of how they work. Let's jump right in. Tip number 1. Know what you are up against. Always check your opponent's cards at the beginning of the match to see what abilities they have so you know what to expect and what to look out for. This can really help adjust your strategy. For example, if they have no steel energy type cards, then it is safer to save up energy for big turns later. Tip number 2. Know the order. Check the move order at the top. This can help you plan out your turns better. Knowing if your Axie will strike first helps to make a decision on whether or not to use energy on their moves. Tip number 3. Count energy. Counting opponent energy is probably the most important thing to do to make you a better player. Let me show you how this works. Right, so this is an example of a match I had before. Each player starts with 3 energy always. So at the moment, just remember that your opponent has 3 energy and you're going to count how much they spent. The opponent plays 3 cards, none of them gaining energy and all spending energy. So it's on 3 minus 3, 0 energy at the moment. Now after each turn end, both players receive 2 energy. So our opponent was on 0 plus 2, so for this turn he has 2 energy to spend on cards. Let's see what he does. The opponent spends no energy this turn, meaning they have 4 energy to spend in this next round, because 2 plus another 2 for the round end is 4. Let's see what cards the opponent plays. 2 cards that take up energy. 4 minus 2, they are on 2 energy. A card that gains energy and costs 0, so plus 1, they are on 3. And there were 2 more cards being played, so that's 3 minus 2 is 1. And now the round end, they get another 2 energy, so they're on 3 energy right now. The opponent spends all 3 his energy. At the end of this round, he will be on 0, and then at the start of next, he'll be on 2. It seems like from the top that there were 2 cards that the opponent played, so it's safe to assume the opponent is on 0 energy, except if one of them were the ability that used 0 energy themselves, which wasn't on the other Axie, because I checked that in the beginning. So that means this Axie had only 2 energy to play. He's playing 3 cards, so I know one of them has to be the tail slap move for 0 energy. And there you have it. Now just by applying these first 3 tips and tricks, you will already become a much better player. These final 2 tricks are a little bit more theoretical, but they are just as important to know. Tip number 4. Damage calculation. Have you ever noticed how your card ability says that it does 70 damage, but when you play it, you notice that it does more? Well, this is because of a few things. A. Certain class types do 15% more or 15% less damage against other types. Here's a graph explaining that. B. When you play 2 or more cards from an Axie, it gains a combo advantage of a few damage extra. This is tied to your Axie skill stat, so the higher the skill, the higher the damage. C. Using cards that are of the same type as the Axie that uses them gives an 10% additional damage. For example, if your beast uses a beast card of 100 attack, it would now do 110 damage. This same principle applies for shields. D. All of these damage stacks together, so it is possible to gain up to 30% extra on your damage if you play your cards right. Tip number 5. Understand the buffs and debuffs. All the buffs increase the stat by 20%. It's also important to note that both buffs and their debuff counterparts are stackable, which means that if you have a speed buff stacked 3 times, it will give the Axie 60% extra speed. Now for the top list of debuffs that are most common. First, Aroma. Any Axie with Aroma gets targeted by all the opponent's abilities for that round, regardless of what position they are in. It's like making them more attractive to the other Axies. 2. Chill. Makes it so that your Axie cannot go into last stand. So a chilled Axie will always die when its health reaches 0. 3. Jinx. Stops your Axie from being able to complete a critical strike. This is especially effective against beast Axies. 4. Poison. Lets your Axie lose 2 HP for every stack that is on the Axie per action. So if you have 4 stacks, then every time any card is played, then you lose 8 HP. Finally, stun. If your Axie is stunned, its next attack will always miss. But if your Axie is stunned and is being attacked, then that attack will bypass the shield and attack the Axie's health directly. And there you have it, 5 tips and tricks to get better at Arena in Axie Infinity. If you like my videos, please subscribe and go check out my other videos. Thank you for watching. Axie Explained out.